Hi everybody, it's Kevin Mc Allister and I'm delighted to say I'm in the Longstone Gaelic Football Club and I'm along with the Rogers Sisters, Amy, Aoife and Kirstie. And we're going to talk about the tournament, aren't we? Kirstie, tell us about the tournament first of all.
Yeah, so a night you want to remember is on Friday the 12th of July and the tournament is going to be running on Saturday the 13th of July, so it's a big weekend for the club.
Lots of people will be looking at this over the weekend, I'm sure, this video, and we decided to shoot it. We're going to talk about Ambrose Rogers, the Gaelic footballer, the guy that, I'm going to look at my notes, he won minor, under 21 and senior level for Down. His height, his physique were familiar to footballers and supporters all over Ireland. He was very popular with his colleagues and indeed every player in the county. Well, some players dreaded him, other players that he played alongside loved him. He was highly respected. I talked to Ross Carr yesterday evening and Ross talked about the player that everybody listened to. If he talked in the dressing room, everybody listened to him. He had respect, he had loads of talent in abundance. Ross told me he was a guy way ahead of his time. In fact, Ross said he just couldn't put it into words how to describe this wonderful man that was Ambrose Rogers. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to the girls and we're going to start with Kirstie. Kirstie, you were 13 when your daddy passed away.
Yeah, 13.
So tell us about that.
Well, it happened quite suddenly. As far as we were aware, Daddy was very fit, very healthy. I remember the night before very clearly because we had a club game here and we played Bryansford and I think he was going to start back training the following week, and just there was a function on in the club the night before. I think it was for the hospice, and Mummy and Daddy were at it, and me and Ambrose were 13 and 14. We were at home, and just the next morning, just remember waking up and everything had changed.
Everything had changed. And you were only 8?
Yeah, I was 8 at the time, so I remember very, very clearly that night as well. Daddy had dropped me and Amy off to Granny's house because we were just a wee bit too young to stay with Ambrose and Kirstie at the time. We probably didn't trust them to look after us. And very clearly I remember Daddy coming into the room and saying bye to us, and he used to always have this wee saying that he would say to us. It would be like, talk to you in a while, crocodile, and see you later, alligator. So even though I was still 8, it's one of my favourite memories of him, and Mummy as well that night. And then obviously the news came the next morning, so it was a big shock to the system. Kirstie came up to the house, so she did, to make sure that we were okay, and then went back down the road to kind of face the reality of it, unfortunately.
And Amy, you were the baby.
Yes, I was 4.
So you don't remember much about that?
I have a few memories. I can remember walking into the wake house and leaving. Mummy was a nurse and I had a nursing set, and I remember putting the nursing set into the coffin with Daddy. And that's what I remember from that time, but I have different memories I can remember.
Kirstie, his contribution to the club here at the Longstone was huge.
It was huge.
You hear stories of him and the things that he did. He was very caring and very thoughtful.
Oh, he was the assistant treasurer of the club right up until he died, and he just lived for the club. He was such a massive club man. I can't put that part into words. You know, if you asked anybody around our club, that's the thing they would say. He had time for everybody. You know, yes, he played for Down, but the club came first, and you know, he was so lucky to excel for both, you know.
The loss of your daddy, girls, I can't imagine what that would be like at a young age. It must have been awfully hard for you, and I can see that it still is hard for you. But I'm sure you got immense pleasure from the comments from various people over the years. They still talk about him, and they still talk about him very fondly.
Yeah, like I even know, even you meet people out and they're like, oh, where are you from? And you'd say Longstone. God, there used to be a great footballer up that part of the country, Ambrose Rogers, did you know him? And then you'd say, God, yeah, like he was my daddy, and he wasn't. And they'd go on to tell you stories, and it's so nice to hear, like especially when like we all were so young whenever it happened, like so people still 20 years on remembering that he was such a legend in his name, and just nothing but good words. I've never heard a bad story about him. Everybody was just saying what a clown he was and what a laugh, and that he was such a family man. Like the memories I do have, although they're not as many as obviously what Kirstie and Ambrose had, bad one of them. He was just an amazing daddy. Like, always had us at the farm or at the play park or at football, or he used to have this wee seat on his bike and take us out the lane shifting cows on it, or in the jeep out in the field. Like, it was unbelievable.
He had a good sense of humour.
A fantastic sense of humour, and he didn't know what to be at. He was a real joker. Like, you know, some of the stories that people tell us, you'd be just
mortified in your life.
in stitches at it. But
Can you share a story?
well, here there would be so many, so many. Like, I remember even just at home, I have a fear of mice, and always did and always will have. And I think there was a mouse in the house at some stage, and you know, I was petrified. And we had a biscuit tin, and it was up. You had to like climb up into the cupboard to get it. And I put my hand in it one day, and this furry thing came out. He bought a fake mouse and put it in the biscuit tin because he knew I was going for the biscuits. He just see the crack. Like, I remember in Bundoran. I don't know if you girls would remember this. You were probably too young. You might remember it. We stayed in the Great Northern Hotel all the time. That was our family holiday.
Very posh.
Oh, we loved it. We loved it. And we were walking down the street, and it was maybe only the year, 2 years before he died. So me and Ambrose were cool. So like, we didn't want to be walking with Mummy and Daddy, but we're walking down the street anyway. And Daddy seen a big 7-foot crocodile, and he proceeded to take it off. It was hanging outside a shop, and get down and beat the hell of it, pretending it was real. He called it everything, and we were standing going, this is so embarrassing. But that was just him.
Yeah.
He just loved to laugh, and he loved life. And I suppose that's the hard thing for us. You know, he had so much life left to live.
Yeah, he was forever the entertainer. Let's talk about your brother for a moment, because he followed in his footsteps. You know, and he played in an All-Ireland final as well. And I'm sure that was a very proud moment for all the family.
It was the best, yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a great experience to kind of see Ambrose, but he came out on his own as well. You know, he was making his own name for the county and the club as well. So he was just delighted. We were delighted to see him. It was an emotional day. Obviously, times like that you do miss having Daddy about for the big days, but like, we know he's looking down on us. I'm very proud.
And Amy will probably tell you this. Ambrose was fantastic growing up. He
Tell us, Amy.
He was trying to start, I can't start.
Oh, that's fine. Go.
Oh God, Ambrose has been just the best of us. I swear, he's been like a daddy to all of us, more or less, like a brother and a daddy.
He even learned how to tie hair using us as his mannequins for his own girls now. We were probably a good stepping stone for that.
We were very, very lucky.
So Kirstie, you mucked in together.
Oh, big time. Like, it's a running joke in our house. You know, I reared you, and then they keep me going that they reared my oldest child, and it's just, we're very, very lucky. You know, things like that break families, and because of Mummy, you know, she glued us together, and we had such a brilliant support network in Daddy's family, the Rogerses, and Mummy's family, the Browns. Like, really, family is everything in our lives, and I suppose when you come through something like that, you realise how lucky and how special your bond is. And we're so lucky, we all still like each other. You know, it's probably made us a lot stronger, but there would be no words to describe him about it.
Let's talk about his contribution to Gaelic football in the club here at the Longstone to start with.
Just like, the pictures on the wall sort of speak for themselves, and you know, he was fantastic as a club man, as a footballer. You know, they just are endless.
He was always just wanting everybody to kind of be associated with the club, and you know, from a young age was always helping out with the underage teams, and it was just your kind of life. Not that it was, we're a community, so we are, and everybody in the club was so good to us over the years as well. You know,
I suppose around here, like, this building is really, you know, this is what Longstone is. There's no shops, there's not a chapel right here in Longstone. You know, this is where we congregate, this is where we meet. So football becomes a massive part of your life.
Yes.
You know, football, we grew up and that was, you just jumped in the jeep and we were going to football.
Yeah.
You didn't even care who was playing.
No.
You just knew all your friends were going to be there. And that was our social life growing up.
You spent a lot of your childhood here.
Yeah. And spend a lot of it still here.
Your memories here?
Good and bad. Personal bad memories, but always remember Mummy was the nurse for Longstone seniors for how long?
21 years.
21 years, and we were always dragged to Whether you wanted to go or not, you were there. But it's been great. Like the friends we have, the support we have from everyone, even from the club now organising the event. It's just amazing.
It's been amazing.
It's so good, and their contribution in time. Like they don't have to do it. It's nothing to them. Like, but
it just shows
it just
how much
shows, yeah.
Daddy still means to everybody here. Like the sports hall out there is named after him. You know, I think it was one year. I think it was 2000, 2001 when the club built the sports hall. You know, it was an addition to the hall, and it was named the Ambrose Rogers Sports Hall, and that's something we are so proud of, because that would be there for his grandchildren and their grandchildren to see.
You touched on it, of course, great pride across the county of Down. Ambrose Rogers, both father and son, stand tall. The younger generation, of course, would know your brother very well. And the older generation are in awe of your dad, and rightly so. And what does that mean to you girls?
Everything. Like, it's, you know, we were selling our grand draw tickets for the weekend we're having in outside Park Esler when Down were playing Mayo, and see the people from Mayo who were coming up wanting photos to take of us because of Daddy. You know, it was just so overwhelming. It goes outside of County Down. Like, you know, that just it boggles my mind at times, because I suppose when we were younger we didn't realise. You know, you don't realise. You know, you look at your daddy as just your daddy, and you don't see the football. It's only now that we sort of, I suppose, when you grow up, you realise how big of an impact he had, not only on us but on other people's lives.
A lot of it as well, like, it wasn't just because he was a good footballer, but it's because he had such a good laugh and such a good personality with everybody, even off the football pitch. Like, he had such good friends that he made through football, and even now, like, they would still come up and like always talk, hello, and how are you? And it just shows that it wasn't just like, he was amazing at football, and you'll never take that away, but he was just a good person as well that everybody seemed to love and get on with.
And now there's grandchildren.
Yeah, he's 6 beautiful grandchildren, 3 boys and 3 girls.
Do you want to mention their names?
Yeah, so my 3 were the oldest, and that's Ben, and then Amber Rose, who's named after Daddy, and Ollie, and then our brother Ambrose has Bella and Anna, and then a wee baby Ambrose was born in June, which was very, very special for all of us. You know, because June was the month, you know, that we're going to have his 20th anniversary, and then Ambrose has a wee boy. Like, we joke, Ambrose was surrounded by girls his whole life.
And perhaps big shoes to fill.
Yeah, but it's actually, it's lovely, because when I say Ambrose with him, I don't know about you, it just reminds me of Daddy. With us, you know,
just messes about with him. Like,
he's to see him, it's lovely to see. You feel like you're seeing it all over again.
Yeah, you realise that what Daddy done with us, Ambrose kind of does with his girls, and obviously we do it with his wee boy, you know.
So it's lovely.
Ambrose is an amazing daddy.
Let's talk about your mummy, Rona.
She's after.
She had to immediately step up and pull it all together.
And she was the glue that has held everything together. You know,
without Mummy, I don't know how we would have coped, to be honest. Like, she's the strongest woman I think I ever know. Like, and people do comment on that all the time. Like, she literally was the glue that held us together through the whole thing, and kind of put all of our needs first all the time. And
like, she really did.
Yeah,
you know,
we never done without anything we wanted. Like, she made sure that we had, and like, just worked so well, but always made sure that we still got our trips away to Bundoran, even when Daddy wasn't there. Like, made sure that we continued that on, and made sure that, although it's like obviously so sad that Daddy passed away, the unfortunate side to it is you do have to kind of get on with life. But Mummy made us see that there's a good side to life after death, and you just kind of remember all the good times with your daddy, but go on to make your own memories as well. So she's been very good that way, and she's a great babysitter now for grandchildren.
Something I'm taking out of this is that family is very important in pulling together, and we can all learn a lesson from the Rogers family. But as we sit here right now, images of your dad behind us here, he's still doing it, he's still helping people. And there is a charity involved this weekend, and we can all be proud of that. So tell us a wee bit about that.
So we actually are so delighted to be raising money for 2 charities, and both of them are very, very close and to our hearts and very special to us. And the first one is the Cormac Trust. That was set up in memory of Cormac Mc Allister, who very sadly passed away at the age of 24. and you know, he was in his prime as well. He had a lovely family. I was speaking actually on and off to his mother and father, and just such lovely people. You couldn't meet nicer people. And the second one is Chest, Heart and Stroke ANI, who do fantastic work with cardiac,
Yes.
you know,
research,
everything. So all proceeds of the weekend are going towards that, and that's something we have wanted to do for a couple of years. We said, you know, when it comes to Daddy's 20th anniversary, we're going to do a charity event, and we're delighted to be able to do it.
Something I want to ask you, when you hear of the possibility of the stroke unit being lost at Daisy Hill, what do you think of that, girls? What's your...
So I am a nurse myself,
Yes.
and I think if the community is to lose a stroke unit, it's a massive loss. It's about an hour and 20 minutes for us to get to Craigavon, so yes, you will get the treatment that you need in Daisy Hill Emergency Department, but after that it's your rehabilitation, and it's weeks of work. It's not something that's going to be fixed overnight. It's really important that everybody gets behind trying to save the stroke unit in Daisy Hill Hospital. The nurses up there, the OTs, physios, the doctors do an absolutely amazing job, and if that was to go, it will be a big loss to the community itself. Even, you know, Craigavon would be your nearest hospital, but it's actually quicker to get to Belfast, so you need to weigh things up. If Daisy Hill's not there and it's your local district hospital, everybody needs to get behind it and back that. If it was one of my family members, I would want them treated in Daisy Hill.
The community of Longstone and the whole of County Down will be looking at this video, and they'll be all having their own personal memories of Ambrose Rogers. What do you want to convey right now in terms of the celebration of Ambrose's life? What do you want to convey to the public?
Well, I think we just, like, Daddy loved life, and we want to celebrate that. We want to celebrate, you know, of course it's tinged with sadness for us, but this to us is to celebrate the man he was, the footballer, the daddy, you know, everything that he was. So we really just want people to celebrate him, and that's, I think, what we all want.
Thank you, girls, for your time, and thanks for welcoming me down to Longstone. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rogers Sisters, thank you.
Thank you.